Hello, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is Dave, and I will be your keeper of arcane lore for this session of Call of Cthulhu. Today we are continuing our playthrough of the Two-Headed Serpent, and you can get your own copy of the campaign from Chaosium.com. You can also find all of the VODs of previously played sessions over on the Chaosium YouTube channel, and we do stream live each week at Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific on Twitch. So if you'd like to join us live, you can find us there. As we jump into this new chapter, I'd like to say thank you to Sirenscape and Roll20 for being tools which we use to improve our games. Without further ado, let's meet our cast. We are down art this week. So we're going to be juggling the order, and that means we are throwing straight across to Jackson to introduce Dr. Taylor Thompson.
Well, hey, I'm Jackson, and I'm playing Dr. Samuel Taylor Thompson, best known as Dr. Sam, who is here just to have a good time and make the world a better place, and ideally not get framed for murder.
Oh.
He's doing pretty well on most of those points, but someone's trying to frame him for murder, and he didn't sign up for that. So we'll see what happens.
Is he still having a good time, though? He's still
having a good time.
That's good.
He's with his friends, you know. He's with his bird. He's with his flying machine.
Okay.
With his neighbors.
All right. Well, perfect.
It's all going to work out in the end.
Well, speaking of his neighbors, James, can you introduce Hubert?
So Hubert lives very far away in Manhattan. We know for a fact that the doctor is out on a farm. That is not a good segue, but I am playing Hubert, and he is an enormous man of character, of muscle, of prestigious size, and he is just out of hospital after having been a little bit blown up in the last scenario, and he's ready to have a good time.
Oh, he's ready to have a good time as well.
Ready to get back to all these lovely adventures we've been having.
Oh, that's good. Okay, perfect. Well, then, speaking of lovely adventures, Alex, can you please introduce Minnie?
Hello, I am Alex, and I'm playing Wilhelmina St. Clair, who is not large. She is very small. She is currently at the farm where the murder framing took place. Minnie is here for adventures of all kinds, although potentially not cutting off people's heads, burning them. Yes, good. Not super jazzed to find out the mob is probably involved in all of this because there are a lot of moving parts already. But you know what? It's something else to research, so she's making the best of it and has a new notebook with cross-references.
That's good. And every time you get a chance to make a new notebook, it's a win. That's what we say.
It's a good time.
Okay, fantastic.
You can't adventure without notebook.
No. Heavens no. All right, so as we pick back up, it is going to be the morning of the day of Brunch. And also reporting to Caduceus, I guess. As we pick back up, Dr. Sam, Lieutenant Carter, and Minnie are all going to be up at Dr. Sam's farm and preparing to make their drive back down towards New York. I presume down. I think that's how that works. And Mr. Smith, you're being checked out of your hospital, removing your gown and returning yourself to your well-suited and more traditional form. Before I hand over the reins, though, I need Minnie to please make a power roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yes. No. Yes. Good. The dream shit. Sleeping problems. Yes. No, we good. I built her for this particular thing.
You wake drenched in sweat once more, with no memory of the dreams that haunted you, but they were definitely of the night terror variety. You wake up with like a start in the morning, and the sun's already fairly high, and the others are almost ready to go. You can't remember what it was, but you can just hear that faint sort of echoing in your mind.
Don't like that. Oh well, onward. Throw on some clothes that she almost didn't bring.
Yeah.
Looks about as put together as usual, which is not very put together at all.
And off we go.
And off we go.
Unless there's any further preparations the two of you want to make at Dr. Sam's, you'd already, so you've burned the body, you've
It's true.
hidden the grave site, you've puts the ring inside the flying machine, which I think was
Inside
particularly
like a spare,
inspired.
no, like a spare engine. It's gathering rust at the back that no one else will have an easy time taking apart.
Yeah, I think it's great. And the shovels with all the other shovels. You'll need on a haystack strategy. So unless there's anything further you want to do, we'll pass this across to Mr. Smith to describe the brunch function and where you'll all be meeting.
Okay, all right. Well, I think that I went straight to the hospital pretty much from when I returned.
From Enrico's big and tall.
Exactly. And I've had several days in the hospital during which I've been able to spend a lot of time planning this function, really making sure that it was going to live up to my very high expectations. I think that I had like a phone in the hospital that I was monopolizing. There's one on the ward, and I would go out every morning and spend a good 90 minutes, yelling at the staff of my favorite restaurant to make sure that everything is, I'll be done soon. I'm sorry, I'll be done soon. And anyway, have come through. So I arrived like an hour early, and I booked out like an outdoor balcony area overlooking Manhattan, the high rises and stuff. And there's a lot, just like a pile of food. Far too much for just the collection of us. And I think also sort of weird events. I think Hubert's figured out that you can get really good deals if you're willing to buy like wedding cakes in bulk. So he's got like a bunch of weird sort of things all laid out on a table, and he's sitting at the top in a big suit,
Seasonally inappropriate.
ascot all set together, waiting for everybody from like an hour early.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Dr. Sam and Minu, along with Lieutenant Carter, will be escorted up the stairs and out to this gorgeous view of the skyline. From here, it's going to be a short trip to Caduceus headquarters, so you have time to enjoy the meal and share what you found in the previous days and make any, preparations or share suspicions or the things that players do. I don't understand this mindset. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll hide myself in a corner for a little bit.
Arts in chat, does Carter actually go to brunch, or does Carter just like, absolutely the fuck not, I'm out?
Oh yeah, we're gonna do this slightly play by post.
I don't know how enthusiastic Carter would be about brunch, because we were trying to cajole Carter into it.
That's
it was
assuming
very much you're coming to brunch or else, and I feel like
that's assuming Art's still in chat. They may pass out in any moment.
Yeah.
If I remember my experience with the spicy cough, it's just.
But I feel like there's a high chance that Carter is just like, brunch, no.
We'll leave that up to kind of Scott, either in chat or retroactively. But there was also the idea of, do you want to be leaving the reminder to the mafia that you know that they were in your house or not? So they could be going and doing that as well. But either way, the three of you can.
Carter has bounced.
Carter will be at home making preparations and absolutely bloody brunchless.
Up to no good, in short.
Up to no good.
So I've had a lovely time in at the hospital. They were very nice to me. I'm well treated, and I've been planning this. How's everything gone for the two of you? Anything exciting? Anything?
Sam got framed for murder, and I think my house got broken into, and then I got taken into a dream by a cat. But Sam got framed for murder.
Just a bit.
Right. Well, let's have the first
the mob's
course.
Involved.
Okay, let's have two courses, and then we'll get into this. And after we've had some food, I'll say, okay, so slow down. The murder feels okay. Let's start with the murder. What happened? You got framed for murder.
Well, I got home. Neighbors said they saw me come in earlier the previous night, but I didn't. And in the barn, there was a muddy shovel and a wedding ring. And a little ways back into the property, there was a shallow grave containing a chap with no skin.
None or
none as in
a lizard style.
Yeah,
lizard style. Peeled straight off.
Okay, that's so. I guess in the same state that we found. Yes. All right. Okay. What
So
did you do?
we burned up the body so it couldn't be found. Hid the shovel, hid the wedding ring.
And we found
And,
out who it probably is. That's where the mob comes in.
Right.
Go from there.
Okay, so you weren't really framed for murder to the police. You were possibly framed to the mob.
Well, who could? That's a good point.
Unless the lizards control the entire mob, which is possible, it sounds to me like the evidence here would be that the Serpent people have murdered a mobster, which means the mob is probably going to be coming after you, trying to find what happened to that mobster.
That makes a lot more sense than what we were thinking.
But I mean, the skin's gone, so the lizard people are now also in the mob if they're wearing the skin.
That's true. That is true.
Which makes the whole framing for murder thing
Right.
a little bit easier, actually, for them because
Because it means
they can
won't.
direct the investigation. I
They're
mean,
not gonna-
although the person who is missing is not missing because there is a lizard person in their skin.
Right. Well, yeah, it means they're not going to come to the farm right away because that person, the chap, what was his name?
The bloke that got
Bresciani.
de-skinned.
Yeah,
Bresciani.
Yeah.
As far as everyone knows, he's still walking around. So actually, that does buy us a bit of time.
we think. We don't know.
Well,
I mean,
okay, so that's one thing. And then you were led into a dream by a cat.
Well, yes, and that's also to do with the mob. The cat told me to go under the bed, so I went under the bed, and then I went into the dream. And then there was one, a very big one-eared bloke, and I think he was the one. Because I was focusing on somebody broke into my house, right, and copied some of my notes. And I was focusing on that when I went into the dream because the cat said I could. And I ended up at a cafe, and there was this large man with one ear, who is part of the mob. And there were other mob people there, and I think I saw some weird kid's villain origin story. But it was all the same family of this Bresciani who has been flayed and, well, originally buried in Sam's backyard, but now burned.
Right. And I mean this in the nicest possible way. Had you either been drinking too much or not enough?
No, not at all. Nothing at all. And, which, that was my first concern too. That I assumed it was not really a thing. But, the more I thought about it, not necessarily at this point, not necessarily the strangest thing that we've seen or indeed done. So
That's very true.
I'm willing to take it at face value at this point.
Okay. Well, this is all very exciting. I think that leaving the country right now might be a good idea while we get our bearings, or at least going to Caduceus so we can see what strange place they're going to send us to next.
Quite.
I think so. I think I don't mind if we have to jet set off again. I don't mind letting this stew for a bit. I mean, it might not be such a
Yes.
bad thing if we get out of town again.
Sure. Maybe we can do a bit of research en route or see what we can find along the way. But yeah, let's finish the food and get a doggy bag each, and then we'll go to Caduceus.
I don't think we're going to be able to finish the food.
Well, that's why I've organized for takeaway. And after we've eaten our fill, everyone comes out with like a personalized sandwich bag of meals, like perfumes and small gifts. And then I will tip outrageously and explain that it was
Incredible.
exactly what I wanted. And I'm sorry I was so difficult to work with. I'm just so passionate. And then we can head off.
Yeah,
And
fantastic.
as leaving, there was like all sorts of brunch, like the pancakes and the French toast and all of the sweet things at the end. And there's like, and as we're leaving, Minnie kind of was pushing the last little bits around the plate. She's like, "There's a nice French toast concoction with cream and caramelized bananas," and she's pushing the bananas around. And, "Joey, bananas.
Oh, it was Joey, not Tony. Damn it.
Yeah, Joey, bananas." Anyway, let's go.
Hell yeah.
I'm just here in the Twitch chat making an excellent emoji-based pun.
It will not
Like
hold up,
Arky Stuff and
unfortunately.
Double Forte. I thought it was Tony Bananas, so it doesn't work.
That's
It's
his.
Joey
That's
Bananas.
his.
Joey.
Sorry,
That's his
everyone.
brother.
Bananas. Yeah, I'm sure there is a Tony Bananas in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Bananas.
That was his brother.
You gotta have a brother.
You must have a brother called Tony.
Exactly.
There'll be someone in the team. The
Of course, the little banana-based historical fact for us is that we would be
Yes, please.
we would be in the period before the Cavendish banana, which is the banana that we all know and love, because the original banana had not yet been completely
Exterminated
destroyed by a
fungus.
Exactly. So we got some OG history banana here.
Good job, Jamie.
Oh.
And for that, you can have 1 luck point for that banana fact. And every
Yes.
banana fact
Great.
brought forward will earn you a further luck point. It is the only fun fact I will accept. Everything else will lose
Michelle.
luck points.
All right.
Gros
Okay,
Michel
I'll give
banana was the one that went extinct.
Grow Michelle.
Ah, there you go.
That's how they made it.
Which is why, like Lolly's candy banana flavor doesn't quite taste like banana.
Like
'cause
bananas,
it's based
because
on the Gros Michel banana flavor.
Very
There you
good.
go. It's based on a thing that doesn't exist anymore.
Jackson, please take a luck point. Thank you for that banana fact.
Is this a new thing? Are
Yes.
we going to get luck points every
Yes.
time we amuse
This is
you?
what we're doing now.
Only for banana facts.
Only for banana facts.
Oh, okay.
Banana facts immediately related to the situation at hand.
That's correct.
But now we need to get to the. If you're oh man! All right, we're getting sidetracked because Art's not here. So Art
it is
can't sidetrack
absolutely.
us, so we're going to sidetrack ourselves. Have you all ever been to the Big Banana?
I grew up in Queensland, yes.
There you, for those outside of Australia, in Queensland, Australia, there is a big banana. It's a
huge.
house-sized
It
banana,
rules.
and inside is nothing but posters and posters of banana facts.
Banana things, banana facts. It's
So,
ridiculous.
we
And
will
it's
need to-
in like a banana plantation, so there's just bananas everywhere. Everything is banana.
We love it to be
man,
a
to get
roadside
there.
attraction, like an oversized animal or plant or something. It's very good.
We've
Next
gone off
week,
topic,
we will
and
be
it's driving me
streaming-
bananas.
Next week, we'll be streaming live from the Big Banana. We'll bring you all the banana facts we
We
can.
will not. We will not be doing that. To be clear, we will not be doing that
This is all
only
set
because Art will have returned, and we'll make sure we do not go to the Big Banana because we will try. We will try to go to the
Because
Big
we will
Banana. We
try.
know that. We accept that about
We'll
ourselves.
try.
Oh god.
Good times.
Okay, all
We
right.
need to be corralled like toddlers.
Moving on. Theory, that's my job. And yet, here we are. Okay. The only other thing, Hubert, do you share the information you found about canning at Enrico's Big and Tall?
Oh,
Yes, I will have shared that information. I will put through everything that I found. So we know that canning is not necessarily the real name, and that also we have evidence of some pretty bad behavior from this person.
oh. Well, if Enrico thinks he's a bad guy, then he must be a bad guy.
Enrico is very discerning.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess let's store this information away, and if we ever need to find out more, it's a good thing. I mean, canning's at least nominally on our side at the very least.
now.
So we can start from that place.
Yeah,
Suspicious, but I'm not.
I don't know. He's dangerous, but he's not dangerous to us necessarily.
Well, it seems like Caduceus might have him on a pretty tight leash. My suspicion would be, if I had to make a guess, that we've seen Caduceus employ pretty risky elements of Serpent person technology before, so it wouldn't be out of the question to think that they are, experimenting with using every weapon at their disposal, which is where I think canning might come into things.
Yeah. I'd agree. I think Caduceus is nominally a positive organization, but
It's just
know.
cut out the disease at all cost things. But we'll see. We'll see. For now, let's go work for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Let's go along.
Okay.
I'm going to call out Dave's excellent choice of French accordion cafe music just now. That was thoroughly enjoyable. Thank you.
Bienvenue à Caduceus.
Okay, so heading back down to the street and flagging a taxi, you can quickly make your way across town towards the Caduceus headquarters in time for your early afternoon meeting. This will combination of a debrief about the events in North Borneo, as well as possibly teeing you up for your future missions abroad. You make your way inside the massive facility and once again can see the people going about their day-to-day actions, unaware of the secrets that lie beneath and above the the aid organization. As you move through past the receptionist towards the lifts, you will be intercepted at the doors by a gentleman I do not believe you have previously met. He is a very thin man with a sort of penciled mustache and very neat cropped back hair, wearing a sort of functional day-to-day suit and clutching yet more manila folders, which he has jammed underneath his arm. As the three of you approach, it's going to be the four of you because Carter will be here just not contributing actively. As the four of you approach, he steps forward to intercept you and introduces himself. He says, good afternoon, I am Dr. Victor Gonzalez, and I understand I'll be working with you more closely going forward. Pleased to make your acquaintances.
You'll be our new handler, is that the idea?
Yes, after the unfortunate incident with Mr. Shapiro, I'll be taking over, working with you moving forward, and also probably giving you a little bit more leash, space to run with, proving yourselves capable so far.
Well, yes, quite. And it seems like having our liaison with us at all times is maybe a weakness in the system.
Yes, and well,
Just
unfortunate for the liaison, isn't it? If you follow me, and he steps into the lift, and as he goes to pull, like, you know, the keychain from underneath his suit, he slots it in, and yet another secret panel pops off down the bottom, and this time you will not be going up but down. And you reach down and he goes, there's been a development recently, and we'd like to get your eyes on it, as well as let you know how things have been moving forward. And he clicks at a button and the lift begins to lower down the building, and you quickly get the sense that you're going like well underneath the New York subway lines. You'll probably hear a train go rumbling past, maybe at some point, as you descend deep into the bowels of the earth. Mr. Smith.
Can I ask while we're going down? I just want to quickly say, so Dr. Gonzalez, what's your background? Are you a medical doctor? How did you come to work for Caduceus?
I am. I trained in psychoanalysis and medicine. I worked with Caduceus as principally an aid organization. As I believe Dr. Taylor Thompson, you joined it as well. And
Dr. Sam, please.
Dr. Sam, then. And once I began to show a knack for the more occult and the esoteric, I was brought on board. I consider myself a close friend of Mr. Meedum for some time, and I've worked with him closely. I was here not long after its inception.
All right, well, we're excited to be working with you then.
You as well. I've heard good things, and I've read your reports. I look forward to working with you more in future, and here we are. The doors slide open, and you step out into the deep subterranean basement of Caduceus. Down here, it's got quite low roofs, and Mr. Smith, you probably were you to stand on tiptoes, your head is sort of bonk into the ceiling a little bit, and the lights that hang down underneath them all sort of flicker every now and then in a suitably ominous fashion. Towards the left and right, you'll see a number of doors that head off into sort of like corridors running in different directions, and rooms for analysis and strange experimentation, where there are a lot of people working. All of them are dressed in uniform white lab coats, and they have masks pulled up over their face, tied back, and then those, I don't know the technical term for them, like surgeon hats, you know, those papery whatever ones tied back, so that you get a very thin line of a given person's face, and that's all you see as they move back and forth carrying clipboards and talking very little as they go about their tasks. Dr. Gonzalez says,
should we be wearing those masks? Is there a danger? Should we have protective?
You'll be quite fine with me. Just follow me and make sure you don't stick your nose in too many different rooms. Some of the experiments can be a little dangerous.
Right, yes.
What we're doing here is we are seeking to understand our opponents, we're seeking to understand their weaponry, and we're seeking to turn it against them. And every now and then, and you hear from one side, and then a cloud of smoke billows out from under the door, and three of these people emerge, going hacking into the hallway. He goes, sometimes there can be mistakes. Please get that cleaned up as soon as possible, and if you follow me, come this way. And he begins to escort you deeper. You see a bunch of like wild shit down here. People going back and forth with like humming devices and spinning gizmos and whatchamacallits. How are the three of you taking this? Or you looking for opportunities to snoop?
Disneyland, yes, 100%.
Hell yeah.
Like anything. She's like just trying to store anything away for later, just anything she can catch a glimpse of.
Awesome. So any door that's halfway open, you're trying to have a little look through. If there's a window, you'll hop up and try and see inside it. Fantastic. Dr.
Very
Sam?
unsubtle rubbernecking.
Fantastic. Dr. Sam?
No, I'm being a good boy. I'm staying with them. I imagine there are like lines painted on the floor.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, follow the red line for this. Don't cross the orange line with black stripes.
That's amazing. Yes.
I'm like looking at that, trying to figure out, okay, I'm trying to do what I'm told. Where should I step? Because stay within those lines. Okay, can I cross this line? All right, just wait, just following, just shadowing, because this is intimidating, and I've seen what kind of dangerous stuff they can make down here.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and you're meeting another doctor. Like, this isn't like Shapiro, who was
that's true.
A business, like a man of the corporation. This is a doctor.
I should like to ask, what are you a doctor of, Doctor?
It's a medicine and psychology are his fields.
Very good. Excellent.
You follow along the paths on the line, and I do love the idea of there just being like tons of branching systems, and you'll get to a point where there's some complex symbol drawn and you're like, I don't know how to read this. This is a hook turn or something. And then can follow
the car
it
goes
further
whizzing
on.
past and you're like, oh, yep, hook turn.
As you're moving along then, Minnie, can I get you to make a spot hidden roll for me, please?
Yeah.
As we have a little snoop.
What? Really? Screw you.
Okay.
Oh, well.
19
that's all
points. We've been we've been doing the luck rolls wrong for this.
Yeah, this is pulp. I'm lucking it. Screw you. I want to know what's down here.
Okay, all right. Let's do it. So go ahead and spend 19 points. And yes, as we found out through chat, once again saved by RQ Stefan, we have been doing luck rolls wrong, and the players get even more luck each session. So
we're professionals.
More to burn. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so with that success, I'll have Jim describe how is Hubert handling. Oh, I might have caught you at a very inopportune moment. It's all right. I'm stalling.
No, make him talk. Make him talk.
How is Hubert handling this sort of strange subterranean secret basement? Is he following the lines like Dr. Sam, or taking the opportunity to have a little snoop like Minnie?
I think that he is following the lines. He's not the kind of person who's going to be able to understand anything that he sees, but he is glancing around and just enjoying everything. It's amazement, but it's not active snooping. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's having a look. If a door's open, you were meant to look inside. Otherwise, it's rude not to. It's an invitation. That's how these things work. Okay. In that case, then, Mrs. Smith, can I also get you to make a spot hidden roll just to see what we see?
Do better than me.
Extreme success. How is that going to be?
Okay, all right. So as Dr. Sam's following along, Minnie and Mr. Smith notice that there is a large set of reinforced doors that you will go past, and it looks as though they have cut like symbols etched into the door frame, into the steel. And just as you're moving past, the door does slide open for just a moment. And it's a little strange because you've yet to see one open. It opens independently. And it doesn't seem to be by your approach. It's as you're sort of just moving past it. And so it would have triggered earlier if it was sort of like a sensor system, which is also way out of time. And it hasn't been pushed by anyone. It seems to have opened independently. And on the inside, you can see there are 3 of these masked sort of surgeons or analysts or whatever they are. And they are moving around a like office chair that's been cemented into the ground, pushed back, actually more like a dentist's chair, is more appropriate. And it's been reclined back so that the figure, which is the mummified form of that serpent person that you recovered all those months ago in Bolivia, is held back. And you can see like leather straps have been tied around the forearms, around the legs, and around the neck to keep it pushed back. The mouth has been pulled open, and you can see, as you suspected, there was like a second layer of skin that had like petrified. Sections that have been chipped away, and you can see bright green, like iguana skin underneath it, and it does ripple slightly as whatever's underneath swallows. But the most haunting thing of all is you can see the eyes inside it. Only one of them from the profile, staring forward, suddenly flick across and catch both Hubert and Minnie as you pass. One of the analysts working over the mummified figure with like a bunch of probably dentist tools, actually, those are like hooky bits and mirrory bobs, looks up as you move across, and then confused, like gestures to the other and motions towards the door. And they step across and they will slide it back shut, and you'll hear it click as like a lock or a latch or something is slid across it on the inside.
That is fascinating. So not only is the serpent person alive, if not well, but it's looking around, it's eating. Okay. Do you want to make a sanity check, Dave?
No, this isn't gonna... You've seen worse at this point. You're in a weird space. You're primed for weird. I think that one's okay.
And also,
so that thing was alive the whole time we were transporting it. Alive, like just alive. And we just had it wrapped in a coat on the plane, and it was alive.
Maybe it was asleep.
Got that impression, didn't we? When we picked it up?
But like, it's really alive. Oh. Well then.
If you'll all follow along, we're getting close, and we wouldn't like to keep Mr. Meedum waiting. This way, and then he takes one more turn, and you emerge into a subterranean business office with a nice long polished table. Towards the back there is like a liquor cabinet and things, and you can see secured into the far wall there is it's like a bona fide like submarine door with like the big swirly hatch thing, which is just being closed and locked by Canning. Now, Hubert, we've realized previously that Canning rivals you for size and sheer mass. So where you almost brush along the ceiling here, he does as well, and he now sort of has hunched over slightly in this room, refusing to sit and looking slightly like a large gorilla. Before him, seated at the head of the table, is Joshua Meedum. Now, some of you might have met him in passing. You definitely see his photos scattered around the offices and things. Hubert, you probably would have met with him directly, as you are you donate to the facility as well as work here as a secret operative. He is a friendly looking small man with a large oversized white hairdo that sort of pushes up and then back across his brow. He sits in the chair in a clean suit, and before him is a briefcase, which he drums his manicured fingers across as the four of you and Gonzalez come into the room. He pushes himself out of the chair with a small jump and then heads across to shake each of your hands earnestly. And as he goes, he says, "A pleasure to meet you, or to meet you again, Mr. Smith, Dr. Sam, Lieutenant Carter, and Miss St. Clair.
Hi.
We haven't had the opportunity to speak since you've been more folded into our operation, so I thought we'd take the opportunity after the rip-roaring success in North Borneo, not to mention your previous adventures in Bolivia. Take a seat. Can I get you anything to drink?"
I like this guy. I will get some tea.
Tea, Canning, tea, please. Dr. Sam, Miss St. Clair?
Oh, I'd love a soda
coffee.
water if you have one.
A soda
Coffee
water?
would be
a coffee?
delightful.
Fantastic. Can't tempt you with a nip?
It's 11 o'clock in the morning.
No nips then. All right. Take a seat. Dr. Gonzalez, please help yourself as well. All right. It's been a long time coming. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done, and thank you for everything that you are going to do in the not too distant future. I welcome you into our war against the Serpent people.
Feel a little bit like we've joined a cult, but excellent. No, I
I
will
don't know
smile
what I was
back.
expecting, but it wasn't this.
I'm well,
No,
normally there's
thank you
applause
for having
there.
us. Thank you for bringing us into the fold. We're happy to be here.
Not a worry. As I said, thank you. I would love to hear about how everything went down in North Borneo. I've heard some reports from Canning, who I understand you spoke with when you first returned, and Dr. Gonzalez has been compiling a study on your previous adventures and heroics, and I understand you deployed the half-terang device. Very eager to hear how that went.
Yeah. Better for some of us than others.
Yeah, but what wasn't our first choice, but look, it worked out all right in the end.
Yes. I understand there were casualties, but I also understand that you were able to not only prevent the serpent person activity, but also to save lives, to dispense a cure to what was a ruthless chemical weapon.
Well,
Yes.
yes. Well, that's
I mean,
that's
that
really why we
was the
joined
goal,
up at
wasn't
the.
it?
And that,
That's why we
please,
joined up at the start of the day. So it's
Kind
good that
of-
we can get that done.
he kind of talks over you for a little bit, and please, allow me. And just he claps for a little bit.
All right.
This is for you. He sits back down and he says, you should all be rewarded. What can we do for you? You give so much. We can only offer so little. What can we do for you? What would you like?
The chance to do more is enough for me, sir.
Well, that can be done. That can be offered, and quite easily. We actually have a mission upcoming soon. The folder that Dr. Gonzalez is carrying will spirit you away to yet another far corner of the world. As he looks over, Dr. Gonzalez does this very little, shakes his head, and he goes, okay, not so far. This one's closer, but all the same. Very important. And there's more to learn.
Can I make a psychology check on this guy? I want to get a read on him. He seems how involved is he? Like, is he a fanatic against the serpent people, or is I'm like I'm just so shocked by this demeanor. I want to get like a character profile.
Yeah, I understand. Make a psychology roll. I will flag that as this is all happening, Cannings has dispensed beverages and proceeds to loom behind Meedum in a very threatening manner, and does kind of bring down the room just by his presence. So every time Meedum tries to inject a little positivity, it is
just like this
stifled
whole thing.
entirely. Yeah, that's right.
Fail, I'm afraid.
I'm going to
I mean-
absolutely just knock my coffee back immediately. Just skull that shit.
Okay, yeah. Scalding hot.
I'd be inclined to have a quick psychology roll
yeah,
as
go
well.
for it. Hubert, what
I'm
I will
just more
say is...
concerned.
No, you go ahead, Jackson.
Oh, I'm just more concerned. Does this guy actually know what he's doing, or is he just got enough people around who do know what they're doing?
Yeah.
Like, is this like an act, and he's really, really kind of on the
Cunning,
ball,
ruthless
or is he
mastermind?
just got enough money
Competency.
to get enough competent people around him who actually take it seriously?
Yeah.
Competency check.
That's my concern.
All right, go ahead and give me a psychology roll. Minnie, how about you? Are you happy to kind of... You're welcome to make a psychology roll. Or if there's anything else you'd like to be, keeping an eye out for, an ear out for.
I'm probably just going to be squinting at the door that was just closed. Like, the hell is in there?
Oh, the one behind that Canning was secured. Yeah, 100%.
I'm looking around the room and just doing, again, very unsubtle rubbernecking.
I don't need any roll for this. Actually, if you're looking for secret passages, you could make a spot hidden roll. But just for starting the door,
I'm
you will
looking
clearly...
for everything.
Okay, make a spot hidden roll for me. I'll see if there's any secrets you can find. And there's our psychology from Dr. Sam. Ooh, on the nose. Nicely done. Okay. So, for Mrs. Smith, you've met with Mr. Meedum in the past. And so you will have some sort of cursory information because, first of all, he has not like devolved since then. It's not a different, like this is kind of the same gentleman you worked with previously. And you found him to carry a almost ruthless positivity into everything he tries to do. It's his kind of way of dealing with a lot of the, quite serious stuff that they deal with. That said, he is competent. He was a very, very ruthless businessman before he gave away a lot of his money. And there was a bit of a character shift before then. He kind of had a come to Jesus moment or something like that, and kind of decided that he would throw himself into the good of the world and try to, bring back, give something back. You also now know, given your deeper qualifications into Caduceus, that this was triggered by a serpent attack that happened. He realized that there were horrors in the world and decided that, we would need to build facilities and work to oppose them. He definitely couldn't do this alone, and that is why he employs people like Shapiro and Gonzalez and yourselves. But he is not an idiot by any means. He is capable enough, certainly.
There you go.
For you, Dr. Sam, you would not have met this gentleman previously, and his demeanor may catch you off guard, especially because in most of the photos plastered around the office spaces, they definitely shoot him from like a low, like he looks a bit more serious, and he looks, like a larger figure and a bit more, not menacing, but like, I run this place and you guys listen to what I say when I say it. Meeting him in person throws you off a little bit, but you do catch that kind of like glint of intelligence underneath all of it, and you actually get the sense that he's kind of throwing a curveball might be kind of his strategy to see how people react a little bit. This is his demeanor, but it catches people off guard a little bit, and then he can play with it. He also, you get the sense there's a little bit of a good cop, bad cop thing going between himself and Cannings, who he clearly chooses to be a very menacing bodyguard. Like, you wouldn't want to mess around with that guy. And lastly, Minnie, with your success, you don't spot any like hidden fixtures in the walls or anything. It's actually quite plain apart from the desk and the drinks cabinet. But Cannings is very much... he has placed himself in a position where, with great speed, he could open that door behind him and get himself through it, and presumably meet him as well. It appears to be like the escape, like that's their way out, rather than going back through all the corridors and the winding nonsense and the explosions and the evil snakes and things like that. They would probably go out that way, and they are not offering it to the four of you.
Right. There's a yes there.
Canning steeples it, not Canning. Meedum steeples his fingers once more and says, "Anything we can offer you, a boon, a gift, an opportunity. Mr. Smith wants to work more, and we will give it to him."
I would love access to the rare and restricted section of the library here, the state the National Library. That would be great.
Done.
Thank you.
Be paperwork, but consider it in motion.
Marvelous.
Dr. Sam, I have a thought. If you'd permit me to suggest something on your behalf, I know you have such worries suggesting things yourself. Unless you have something in mind.
Well, I was just going to say, if you permit a favor, more of an ongoing favor, I've got some hesitations about, all out total war, as it were, and I guess I'd be most interested, as long as I'm on the team, to kind of keep an eye on what cultural research we can glean from the Serpent folks, and find out about who they are, not just what they are, what makes them tick, and what common ground we can find. If you'd permit that, it might be a bit too much of an ask, but that's what I had in mind.
Midway through your message, he's pointed a finger at you and started waggling it, and then he goes, "I was right about you. I was right about you, Dr. Sam. You are the man for the mission. You are the man for the job, and this one in particular, I think you will find very relevant to your interests and pursuits. We want to understand our enemy. We want to understand what makes them tick, and that's not just the weaponry they employ. It's the goals they want to accomplish. It's, are there other means to end this conflict? What will it take to send them back underground and stop trying to devour humanity? Perfect. We'll give you every opportunity.
Good. That's all right then.
Well, that's fantastic.
What were you going to say? Hubert?
Well, I was just thinking, since we try so often, the three of us to do good things, good where we can, I know that you and I had spotted some criminal activity in New York, and I was wondering if Caduceus' reach might extend just a little into the legal system. We could potentially push things a little, but perhaps that's a discussion for another time.
You're having legal trouble?
It's a long story. Why don't we figure out exactly what we want to say, and we'll for now we can focus on the matter at hand.
If my friends have trouble, I have trouble. But if you don't want to talk about it at the moment, that's fine. We can talk about it later. There's lawyers we can employ. There's wheels we can grease. Let's keep this train rolling.
It's good to know.
Okay. All right. If there's nothing further to report, I will hand this across to Dr. Gonzalez, who will share with you your next mission. But I just wanted to take the opportunity. I wanted to meet you all, person to person, shake each of your hands, say thank you and job well done, and let you know that I am at your service. I'm here to make your job as easy as possible. And hey, we're all in this together, right?
Yeah.
Very
Very
much.
much.
All right. Okay, all right.
Can I have a coffee?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
That would be great.
Another
Another
coffee.
coffee would be...
I misheard you.
Yeah, if I could have another coffee, that would be great.
Cannings, please. A coffee for Miss Sinclair.
Thank you.
Not at all. Was meaning to go. Now, short.
Just...
Pause.
It'll just be one... Yeah. And
One
just,
sugar?
Just nick another one. Oh, no sugar, just black is fine. Just espresso is good. Yep, just...
All right. And with that, the coffee is shared.
Yeah.
And Canning...
Just immediately, again, knocks it straight back.
Canning unlocks the door, pulls it open, and you can see like a yawning black tunnel behind it with no lights turned on. And Mr. Meedum steps up and says, "Thank you again. And if you have any questions, you have only need to ask."
Oh, where does that go?
And he steps forward into the tunnel, and if he responds, you do not hear it as Canning turns, ducks under the door, and closes it behind him. And as he does, you could just see him glaring at the three of you and Carter. And it's just, and as the tunnel is pulled closed, the light shrinks around until you only see his eyes for a moment, and they just glint with malice. And it clicks shut, and the door seals.
Any question except that one, apparently.
Can I very quickly, in almost a casual way, if possible, Dave, get up, walk over to the door, and kind of like turn back towards Dr. Gonzalez, smiling, because I've just gone over and been like, that's where they went, that's good. But I'm actually doing, I know it's a big, heavy door, but I just want to see if I can hear anything on the other side.
Yeah. Okay.
Do I hear a, all right, turn on the lights.
I can't see a fucking thing in here. Yeah. Make a listen roll. You're going to need an extreme success.
It's presumably like a fireproof, blast-proof,
it's a very heavy door.
Escape panic door.
It's fine because I'm going to roll. Oh, yeah, I'll lock that to an extreme. Easy. Okay.
So
Nice.
luck. All right.
We're high on luck. That's how it is.
But I believe you do you get to ticket because you asked for an extreme?
No, that's fine.
No, it will not be. It will need ticket rolls. You didn't hit the DC.
10 points.
Okay.
Bring me down to 55 for an extreme success.
You do not hear lights turn on. You do not hear like a mutter. What you do hear is footsteps receding, and if anything, there's kind of a pointed. There is an absence of discussion. It would appear Meedum does not continue his positive can-do, let's have fun attitude when he is just with Canning. Because they are...
Well, it'd be a bit hard, wouldn't it? He doesn't have... Canning isn't exactly the soundboard for that, I guess.
No, it's the vibe. It appears they are in silence now, marching quickly away. And you don't... you won't hear them discuss anything further. You also don't hear lights click on. They might just be really posh ones. So that would be very difficult to hear through the
Of course,
through the door.
yeah.
Or they're
I would
actually
say-
serpent people who can see in the dark.
Can some people see in the dark?
presume so.
Possibly.
I thought snakes didn't really rely on eyesight in general.
They have like
yeah,
their
that seemed to
tongue
be
goes.
the distinct problem we were having, right?
You might
They
be
could
right.
hear us.
I think they do have like enhanced senses. Certainly, be aware of that. Yeah.
Google.
What I would say is, Mr. Smith, as you get to the door, Dr. Gonzalez heads down and begins to get out the manila folder, and you can decide if you want to stay there or join the table or do anything further. I'll leave that
right,
in
so where are
your.
we going?
I've rejoined the table at this
Okay.
point. Yeah.
So Dr. Gonzalez gets out the folder, places it down, and then he unfurls a map of the globe, and it's large, and it folds up the whole table, and then he goes, folds it back in a little bit, folds a little bit further, and then he puts down a finger and he points at Oklahoma, America,
Oh,
and he says, this will be your next destination. We have intercepted some strange messages coming from a small town, Bingham, Oklahoma. Once we've discussed here, I'll take you with me to hear the recordings that we've made. But it would appear that somehow a local town pastor has become enamored with the word of Yig, the father of serpents. And what we're most curious about here is how they came to hear that name and why they seem to be working in the father's service. We've detected no hostility. There have been no deaths. This just appears to be a change of attitude or a new understanding that they have developed through unknown means. Dr. Sam, you mentioned an opportunity to get into the mind of those that follow them, and this might give us some insight into what it is that the Father of Serpents could offer to common people to bring them across to their board, to their team.
It is an eyebrow raiser.
Do we have any evidence through other activities, in the bulk of work that has been done against the serpent people? Do they make a habit of going into built-up places? I know that Bingham isn't exactly a metropolis from what you're describing, but
It is not.
everywhere else we've been has been really isolated.
it's a far cry from, North Borneo.
Bingham itself is also not. This is a small, rural, it's like a Dust Bowl town. It's quite separate, and it's a little ways out from the next largest city. You'll be arriving by train into
good.
the larger city in Oklahoma, and then we'll have you'll have to organize transport from there to get you into town. Actually, no, that's not true. It will be a transfer to a smaller train that runs through there and also ferries product and things as they are a farming town.
Right.
No, this seems to be
Well,
separate.
no jet lag.
That is true.
I went to Google what the largest city in Oklahoma was. I saw Jackson bend forward slightly to, I presume, do exactly that.
Exactly the same thing.
Okay, all right. Where are we headed, Jackson?
I don't know. The capital and largest city of Oklahoma? Well, that'd be Oklahoma City.
It is also.
I thought so, yeah.
All I need to do is just read the next passage where it goes, the railway line connects with Oklahoma City. Yeah.
Oklahoma is the one with the tail sticking out the back.
The state,
The
like the shape of it,
Yeah,
that's Florida.
Okay.
Oh, it's got like a big chunk sticking out the back.
Also apparently Texas. So
Anyway,
anywho, he says, so the chance here is to travel inside, ask around the local townsfolk, see how much weight the Father of Serpents has, see what supporters he has brought to his cause, and understand why they have been brought there. This is principally investigative, principally using your social skills to uncover the truth behind it and to glean insight rather than actively oppose. Although, of course, if you do find something more malicious, then, well, we leave that in your capable hands.
Well, that's why we have Carter, right?
That's right.
Prepared for all situations.
Presumably speaks up at this exact point with something suitably badass,
Yeah.
and then
Everyone nods
Insert
and goes
badass
like,
comment
hell
here.
yeah. Dr. Gonzalez gives a little fist pump. He's like, fuck yes, rules. It's gonna be so sick. I love this team. Pew Pew says art in chat. Not that. The last thing that Gonzalez says as he begins to unfold, and he'll pass you across some folders which have basic summary of the town, like some of the, you know, the structures inside of the buildings and things like that, and just like general, hey, this is what Oklahoma's all about. He will sort of pause for a moment and says, before we go to listen to the recording, Dr. Sam, you've already stated a desire to understand. I would reiterate that desire. The people here may be... There's probably a reason why they have given themselves to Yig, and they may be innocent in this, even if there are more malicious activities afoot underneath. It is likely that the common people are just being swept along in it and are just looking for something that can explain the unexplainable or can help them in a time of need.
And look, if I remember correctly, Yig was the baddie, but not all Serpent folks follow him. Am I remembering that right?
So there were two. There's the father of Serpent's Yig is actually the one that they kind of is less actively
less bad?
evil. That is not the inner knight.
He's
They follow
less involved.
Yes,
Less, it's kind of Yig is the distant, unknowable god
that's
who does
right.
not necessarily involve
That's right.
themselves in one way or the other.
So it
Whereas
is
the ones we've tangled with are actually
are the inner
bit
knight,
more
and they
militant.
worship Sathagwa. And
So
they are the ones
they're the
going
ones who are
around.
actively like,
No, boy, I love
I got
killing.
them mixed up.
yeah,
Oh,
they're the
well,
ones who are
that's
like,
good.
let's replace people with, let's rip off people's skins.
Oh no!
and
In that
replace them.
case, it's good. All right, yeah. So Yig is the one who's not really out to get us. So it would be good to understand what makes them tick.
Yeah, and this is also
we
in
get
theory.
a bit more of an in with the Serpent folks who might not immediately kill us on sight.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Sam, I do agree with your approach of trying to sort of get a proper understanding of what's going on here. Not trying to kill us that we know of, or not trying to kill us in a way that we have encountered yet. It's best to not assume that these people are allies in the same way.
Oh, no.
Not yet.
Assume a position of neutrality until proven otherwise.
Agreed.
I probably land a little south of neutrality before we, but yeah, sure. Let's.
Dangerous
We definitely
neutrality.
don't have to start shooting right away, or bashing, as the case may be.
We may apply non-lethal weaponry until it is decided to bring out the big guns. If you'll if you'll follow me, I'll show you to the recording that we intercepted that first brought our attention to
Yes.
the town of Bingham, Oklahoma. Come this way, and he steps up and begins to walk back along the colored lines, taking you into yet another separate nest of corridors and hallways.
Sam, you don't have to actually walk on the line. Like, you can step either side of it, it's...
Oh well, I just think they're there for a reason. So we better, someone's put a lot of work into painting those.
I'll go behind, and I'm trying to balance on it just behind Dr. Sam.
Do you want to give me a dexterity roll?
I fall.
No, you don't fall. You don't fall. You just can't get. It's a thin line. It's you put a foot up and go nuts.
Straight through a door into whatever that spooky room was, and
It's your mother's. It's break your mother's back, right? So somewhere in New York.
Mom. Okay, all right.
All right. You follow along through the hallways and eventually come to an isolated room, inside which there's a bunch of electrical apparatuses and whizzers and clickers and things like that, and spooling tape. Gonzalez heads inside, and there's no other attendants in here, just the four of you and him. And he clicks the door shut behind you. Seats himself down at, I picture it as very much similar to like a recording booth, where on the other side you would have the artist performing, but it's just the one way. So it's got a little seat, and everyone's got headphones that they can sit down around, and there is a large panel of switches and dials in front of him. He begins to adjust them and then plugs in a phonograph recording, and then says, listen closely and tell me what you can hear. And then he pops it down. You begin to hear the pop. Despite all of the amazing technology in here, it still sounds like a 1920s recording, radio broadcast. Pops for a moment, and then you can hear coming over the speaker is, and the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon the belly thou shalt go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. This is the word of the Lord. And the thing kind of spools, and that's the end. He pulls it off, and he goes, okay, let's hear that again. And he puts it down. Can everyone please make a listen roll?
All right, because that didn't sound very yiggy.
I mean, it sounded a bit yiggy.
Mentioned a serpent, but there are serpents in the Bible, I
I'm
think.
pretty sure that's just a Bible verse.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Good work.
We're all sitting there.
You're going to have to explain this to us.
Slow it
goes-
down.
Small words.
I don't
goes-
understand. On the belly, cursed to eat every day of your life. That
You-
sounds great.
If you can't hear it, then let me try and slow things down a little bit. It might be distorted a little, but there's definitely something underneath. And he adjusts some of the dials, and then when it repeats again, he's like isolated certain frequencies, and just underneath, now it comes through as like, and the Lord God said unto the serpent. But underneath it, you can hear a sounds
Can
that
I roll knockout?
you can, but you are going to take a penalty dice, as you could not hear this without the fine adjustments. The other two of you do have Narcal as well. You can all attempt to roll.
Okay.
Do I have Narcal?
I think you would have all gotten a little bit from...
I got 10 points of Narcal.
Yeah, slap it in.
I do not have anything in Narcal, I believe, or at least I did not so record.
And it's going to be with penalty dice as well, so it's going to be tough.
Doesn't matter.
Do you want me to give a 0.5 in it, or
Yeah, slap a 5 on it.
Wow, that's just a wall of red, ain't it?
Wall of red.
And here we go, 5% chance. So clearly, you're not going to make much.
5% with a
here.
penalty too.
Yeah, oh well.
Okay.
Oh well.
And I'm just going
That's
to roll
okay. It's kind of fun not to know things sometimes. We don't know what we're
Yeah,
walking
that's
into.
it.
This will go great.
No one is able to understand the Narcon. It's been pitch shifted and wobbly dobbed, and you at the end of the day, your Narcal knowledge was kind of limited as well. Minnie, you'd principally studied it in written form. Hearing it is
Yeah.
kind of different, and you haven't heard much. You do recognize it as Narcal, so there is definitely indication that there's some kind of certain person presence. But beyond that, you will not be able to understand what exactly it is saying.
Really, it just sounds like any sermon that I've ever heard. I suppose we'll just have to go to one and find out.
Dr. Gonzalez, what suggests to you that this is to do with Yig specifically? Have you been able to translate the text yourselves?
I can understand portions of it. I've studied it for a time, and I believe I can recognize the term for yig, something about blessings, maybe, opportunities. And there's been strange reports coming out of the town of Bingham. There's people that are being cured of ailments. There are folks beginning to flock to here. We've heard word through our network of people making the long journey out, and it seems that the town is growing as more... believers flood there every day.
Okay.
Okay.
But any sightings of serpents themselves?
No sightings. No, nothing explicit.
Which, I mean, that checks out. I mean, we had to look very hard to find evidence of any, let
That's
alone
true.
an actual sighting of one. And they're very good at hiding themselves.
We also do, this could just be, they may have found it through other means. They could have discovered texts that have begun to let them commune with the Father themselves. This may not be direct involvement. This could be an opportunity to understand. And
Yeah,
as we've said before.
definitely. I mean, there's other ways that they can communicate for sure. I mean, the physical presence is not. I mean, we've seen evidence, right? That there's They have many ways of communicating. They have technology beyond what we can understand. They don't necessarily need to be in a place to exert influence, or they don't need to be there to be there.
More particularly, I'm surprised they need to use a radio.
This was a. Am I correct in assuming this is a either a broadcast from the church as a means of attracting more people, or a covert recording?
This is a public broadcast. It's sent out by like the Oklahoma broadcast station, so it could piped into speakers all across the state. And it appears that this is like a subliminal message layered underneath it that would whispers to people, "Come to Bingham, learn what the Father can offer."
Common. Yeah, it's quite common in these rural places, that they have one church and not everybody can get there. So the radio has been a boon for these places. Really, they pipe the sermons out, and it's quite a religious area of the country, I believe. So fairly common to have this kind of thing broadcast. I mean, not fairly common to have alien snake language subliminal messaging underneath, I hope, but it sets a precedent, I guess, and we should be investigating it on that grounds alone.
As Minnie finishes her thought and Gonzalez goes to respond and to give a little bit more context, talking about people have been coming here, and as you get inside, it looks like the church would be a good point of call, but also make sure you talk to some of the others inside there. I would like Minnie to make a power roll, and Dr. Sam and Mrs. Smith to both make a psychology roll, please.
Interesting.
Okay.
Oh man, come on.
Yeah.
Nay for me.
Okay.
4 points.
So that's a
90,
success.
And I still failed.
That's a success for Dr. Sam, and a failure for both Minnie and Mr. Smith.
You're only 4 points of luck off, though, if you want.
But I want to know what happens.
I see. Okay.
I'm riding this thing into the ground. Okay. As everyone's talking, Minnie, you finish, and then you realize there's like a high pitched keening in your ear, and you kind of disassociate a little bit, and you're just sitting there, and you can hear the others continuing to talk around you, and from moment you kind of wobble back a little bit and kind of try and move your head as if tuning into something, and then you hear a
I think your microphone's happily filtering it out.
Not picking up.
well, it's a very ominous hiss.
All the better.
An ominous
It'd be
hiss.
far too spooky. And then a voice traveling through which says something in Narcal once more, but this one is being piped directly into your ear. Minnie, can you please make a language Narcal roll? And this one you can actually take a bonus. Oh my god. That's a success. You can take it.
I'm going to bonus that, but just in case.
You won't be able to get lower underneath the 0-4. It's the best result you're going to have.
Yeah, actually.
But that is absolutely going to do it. You recognize so with the success, you recognize this as Narcal. You also recognize this as the same voice that you've heard in your dreams a number of times. And you interpret it as, "You are as bad as each other. I refuse to serve the father of snakes or the mother of darkness. May you both be struck down." And then for a moment as you keel, you hear a boom from somewhere else inside the facility, and the whole place shakes. The lights above click and die, and there's a pop of sparks as they do, and smoke begins to roll in. Suddenly you're back in it, as if this thing had just flooded into your mind for a moment. Mrs. Smith, you fail. Dr. Sam, as this resolves, not only do you notice that Minnie is slightly strange, you see Dr. Gonzalez, responding. As you're talking, he also is kind of, shaking his head, and out of the conversation, it seems like they both had a similar kind of thread going, and suddenly the boom rocks through, and everyone is shaken. Can I immediately get everyone to make dexterity rolls, and suddenly you are plunged into darkness as you're kind of thrown off by an explosion.
Okay, so the boom was real.
The boom was real. Everyone hears the boom.
Explosion was real. Excellent.
Something has just detonated inside this facility.
Big boom. Oh, fumble,
baby.
buddy.
Here we go.
Is this the second time you fumble a dexterity roll?
I am not a dexterous man.
Okay.
Sam.
So, for
You can have 6 points of luck.
Okay, all right. It's gonna be nothing. Hubert Smith, you are only gonna take 1 point of damage from me, but as the explosion goes off, you stumble backwards, and the large, desk that holds all the device tumbles down across you, pinning your leg for the moment, and you are momentarily unable to move. Gonzalez immediately blinks himself out of the same stupor, looks around and says, "Are we under attack?" and heads towards the door.
No.
But it seems to be
Gonzalez.
shifted a little bit, like it's not opening immediately. What is everyone doing?
Oh dear.
That boy, Gonzalez. Did anyone else hear the...
What did you hear, Minnie? What did you hear?
I think it was the... I think it was the thing that we took from Bolivia.
Ah, okay.
Sets with the
I think-
floor. Ah.
That's a me one.
Nobody else heard that, really? That was not... I mean, not the boom, before the boom, before the... Oh gosh, Hubert.
I'm gonna try and throw this thing off me.
As you begin to, can you give me a strength roll? And Gonzalez is pulling at the door as hard as he can, but it does seem to be stuck. And he says, "This place is secure enough. Anything that's attacked should be locked in here as well. But there's valuable stuff. We need to move as quickly as possible. Understand what's happening?" And he tries to pull it again. He cannot open the door. Hubert, that is going to be a failure. Okay, you're able to shift. It's not too bad. And again, prodigious size. You shove it across the side and begin to pull yourself up on the interior. Once again, no one can see anything in here. You're in pitch darkness because there's no ambient light filtering through. So you're just going by one another's voice. And you can begin to hear from somewhere in the facility the whoop, 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 whoop of sirens of some sort. That's, dispersed by the dust.
Building could come
emergencies.
down. Oh, sorry, Dr. Sam, after you.
Oh, if there's an emergency siren system, there must be some emergency lighting.
Presumably. Does not appear to be in
Like
this
a
room,
different
though.
circuit. Ah.
Can I stagger over to the door that Canning escaped through? Because
You
we
are in
know
a different
that-
room.
We're in a
Oh,
different
sorry. Yeah,
space.
we
We're
did
in
do
like
that.
a
We moved
radio
out. Sorry,
room.
my mistake. Ugh.
Although
I
if you
should've-
get to there, that might work.
Yeah, okay. I would
can
like
get the door
to
open.
head to the door. Yeah, I'll get this thing open.
Minnie and Dr. Sam, what are you doing? As Hubert heads towards the door, and Hubert, no roll needed. You're able to just put a hand and wrench it ajar.
Is it pitch black? Is it like pitch black?
From the outside, you can now see there is some light coming through. Some rooms still have lights on, and you can see people stumbling around, moving, and torches being clicked on. As you open the door and the smoke kind of dust filters down, you see a couple of attendants move past. You suddenly see a string of 8 SWAT guys go storming past, stomping in uniform, and they're in full black thick leather armor. They have visored helmets down, and they're all carrying submachine guns or something across their chests, and clearly head in the direction of where the explosion came from. Gonzalez comes out into the area and says, "Oh, we need to get to the
Nobody else
exit.
heard that.
We need to get upstairs away from all of this and get you secure."
No, yeah, I'm sure
Nobody
you,
else heard that, really. Nobody.
We didn't hear anything, Minnie, but
Minnie,
if you
should
think
probably-
if you think it's that other thing that we took back, we should get towards it right
Yes.
now.
Yeah, if you heard something, I'd be inclined to trust it.
I thought it was. I must have not been. I think
got
it's
the
the thing we
closest
took. I think it's the thing we brought back.
You've got the
Everyone,
best
follow
power
me.
of
We're
any of us.
going this way. And Gonzalez begins to pull you away, and it will he quickly takes a branch that will take you away from where the gun guys are going, and presumably back towards the lifts.
Doctor, if you've got something you need to do, that's fine. But if there's people down there that need help, I'm happy to help them.
We have a doctor here. Sam. I think that's the right idea. Also, I don't think it's a very good idea to use the elevators in this kind of situation.
There's possibly a fire, a safer set of stairs. He's taking you to the exit. But yes, good call.
I will say, we're right behind you. And I start walking behind him. And then once he is confident that we're following, I just turn around and walk back to the
So
others.
is the intent to actively shake him?
I think yes. I think I'm assuming that he's just running and that he's not even going to try that hard to So
No,
I'm happy to take
he says his line is, "We need to get you to safety." So he's trying to ferry you up. But
okay.
that said, there is general chaos. I would take, and given you are kind of able to block it, if you want to give me a stealth test with a bonus dice, Hubert, to just shake him and head deeper into the facility.
All right.
Likewise, I would like to I'm certain that voice is the same one that it's the one that I've been
You don't need to roll, Minnie.
hearing.
If Hubert succeeds here, he will do it for everyone. Actually, you can give him a second bonus then.
Oh, it's all good. 11. He did it.
Good,
Oh, well done. Okay. Yeah, you're able to sort of stop, and with that success, you're also able to. You guys can kind of plausible deniability later on. Like, he gets far enough that you could always say, "We lost you in the chaos,"
we
went down a wrong corner, and we just, people went past and we lost you. And you are able to, as Gonzalez moves around the corner, Hubert pauses for a moment and then turns, and you go down the other doors and follow after the stomping military men.
Excellent.
All right. Let's get towards
Keeping an eye out for any casualties.
Okay.
Any injured folks.
You
get closer.
You will find a couple people as you follow through the the occasional whoop of the siren and the dust filtering down. More lights are on around here. It seems like it just kicked off, like some of the circuits were thrown, but others are beginning to be brought up, and already things are getting brought back online. You will see a couple of doors have been closed and locked, so you can't go inside them. But a couple others, people are being left open, and people are pulling out the wounded and storing them to the side. It looks as though this was like a tremor that went through everything, and no one's been fatally injured. There's no like completely collapsed rooms. There's no one like, there's been burned by fire, but you will spot a number of people that have been lightly injured. Things similar like what happened to Hubert. A bookshelf fell on them or something else. Additionally, there might have been people working with sensitive pieces that are in worse condition, but you don't appear to run into any of them as you go. Do you want to stop and start to basically triage first care people? You'll kind of immediately hit a couple of people that could use light attention.
No, if I get the impression that there's someone nearby who has basic first aid and no one's in the immediate chance of death, I'll leave that, because I'm assuming that as we get closer, the injuries may get more serious.
Okay.
So keeping an eye on them, checking them, making sure they've got some first aid at hand, but otherwise saving myself for the more serious cases.
As we rush through, I am going to repeat what I heard in Knockout.
Yeah, 100%.
There was a voice, and it wasn't. I've heard it before, and I'm almost certain. That it was the thing we brought back to us, because it had stuff with it, right? It had like a scepter and a crown and all of that sort of stuff. It was something important, and it was telling me that it wouldn't bow to either of them. It wouldn't bow to the Queen of Darkness or to either of them. So those are the two parties that we were aware of, and this might be a third worse thing.
It makes sense that it woke up as soon as we started playing the recording again and again and slowing it down.
Oh, yes. Possibly.
Probably enough to detect it. Okay, well...
You're drawing close at this point, and you can see that passages that you think head towards this. You basically just follow the armor guys have been stopped. They have basically set up blockades. They post like two guys in front of a corridor that heads down there, and they're stopping anyone going down. Additionally, you only notice it once you've gotten closer and the two guards hold up hands to stop you from approaching and don't say anything, that you realize no one said anything. Even the people wounded down on the ground and that have been sort of helped out of the way, none of them have said, help or ow, my leg. They've just been moved to the side, and they're all working silently. Sorry, not silently. There's the occasional and grunt as they shift them around, but they're not talking. As you get towards these two guards, they'll hold up hands and gesture for you to stop. And they've got the safeties on, but they've got weapons clearly displayed.
I'll bustle forward towards them and start saying, "You've got to let us past. We need to get close. We can help the situation.
I'm a doctor.
We've got a doctor with us.
We're the ones who found the thing."
You talk for a moment, and you can kind of see your own. It's the two guys. They've got the mirrored visors, and you just see your own faces talking back at yourselves. It's a little disconcerting as you yammer, and given the curvature of it, it's kind of parodies of yourselves. So you see, big jowls or a pin thin head, and it kind of throws you off a little bit, and they refuse to respond. Can I get a Hubert, it's going to be a persuasion test. You can take a bonus dice for the assistance of the other two, and this is very much going to scale, but it's going to be quite difficult.
All right, so base level is going to be all right. Well, that would have been a 98 if I have the bonus. 38, so I can luck that down to a hard success. And
33, 5 points.
I think I will do that.
I'll tell you what, with just the success alone, I'll tell you, they are not even going to respond to you, and they are just going to form a wall. With an extreme or something, you might get some more, like, a clearer...
Okay.
But it appears that you are basically being told no.
I'll go to a hard.
Okay.
So they talk to us?
Okay. As you go to a hard, one of them behind the visor will say in a kind of... It actually has to, like, you can hear, like, swallowing spit or something to wet its mitt. Sounds like it doesn't talk very frequently. And then says, absolutely not. You do not have clearance. Return to the surface. Fulfill your objectives.
All right.
We have this under control.
I hesitate for a second.
As he says we have this under control, you do hear it from somewhere towards the back. And that tells you two things. One, it's like several corridors and twists away. There's a chance there's another route back there. You know, you could like try and find another.
Yeah.
Like they might not have locked off every direction so far. There's also like surely there's a
twisty little facility, isn't it?
Exactly.
Good.
There's also only two of them. You can do the old wham.
Yeah. I have one other approach. I will look towards Minnie to set me up for this because I have very bad associated skills. But I will be, so I'll say, good. So you got rid of that Haftarang device. You found it? You've disabled it?
You found it? We and I'm immediately going to kind of pick up what he's putting down and oh, so you found it because you know if it goes off like that and you don't know where it is.
The middle of New York, this whole building
right in the middle of
goes,
everything.
and
I should have seen what happened when we set one off. I mean, the fireball was huge, but these things, you know, they don't always look like what they're meant to look like. And we know that one's been missing for a little while now. So you found it then. You've got it under control. You found the device.
Because there's only
reset it.
seconds
You've changed the radius of the blast.
The zippities? Okay, I love it. I am treating this functionally a pushed roll, and Bailey here will see you possibly forcibly escorted out. This is going to shift to fast talk, however, and it is going to a success will have. You will not be immediately escorted out, but it might not let you through. It's a hard DC, but success will stop the penalty of the push roll. If you want to go ahead and make a fast talk roll, Mini. Hard to fully sell that. Oh my God, you guys roll so well.
Minnie, yes.
Okay. Minnie, you start to kind of barrage them with quick things, and it looks as though some part of
words.
They probably wouldn't. The layout of Caduceus is very isolated, so they probably don't have the report on. Like, they wouldn't know that you're on board. They would just know your clearance. They're kind of like security goons. That said, clearly at some point they've gossiped about how cool Haftarang devices are and how they make big explosions,
Or how terrifying it is, or someone has seen the report of what actually happened when one went off.
the devastation that these things can do. And still without looking, through from behind the mirrored lenses, one of them pauses for a moment, they let you talk, and then turns around with a snap and says, follow me, stay close behind. And then they begin to march, and it will be one will take the front, the three of you will slot behind them, and the other one will take the furthest point and basically escort you through passages heading deeper into the facility. Do you all wish to go?
Yes.
Hell yes.
Okay. All right, they march forward.
Could be a good time.
Yeah. Dr. Sam, can we get a hell yes from you just to do your proper
Yes.
hell yeah.
They stomp forward, and as you're going through, you can see that this part of the facility does appear to have been more severely affected. A number of doorways have kind of like buckled in a strange way, and as you're getting closer, it appears less that they've... It's not like an earthquake, and they all seem to have uniform buckled towards where whatever happened has occurred. Like the frames have twisted slightly, as if like the section of the building were sheets on a bed, and they pulled it towards the center a little bit. There are some employees here, or assistants, or whatever they are, that have been wounded in the process, and you can see them being escorted by the armed team sort of up and away from everything that's happening, and then they're going to be triaged out there to be attended to. You can see doors that have been sort of busted open, and on the inside, so like, you know, spilled vials and things. You can also see a couple of rooms where people are still inside, possibly hurt, that they have not gotten to yet. You guys have arrived quite quickly on the scene, and they're working to get the doors open and get them out, but it's not
Okay.
The priority appears to be secure the area, help people. Help people's number 2. It's definitely up there, but they need to make sure no one's getting in and that, you know, they have got control of the situation. And you're so quick on the, you know, on the fields. I don't think that makes sense, but whatever. You arrive so early that they are still setting that up. Dr. Sam, you could stop and attend to people if you wished, but they are they want you to deal with this potential Haftarang device, so you are kind of being escorted straight through to the, you know, the heart of whatever happens. You clearly...
Again, do I get the impression there's always someone nearby with first aid?
They are working towards it. They are... And there's more of them. They are busting down doors to get people out. But it's a slow process. And there's not millions of these guys. There's often now that you're through the perimeter, basically, you'll see like 1 or 2 every now and then busting. You also don't go that far. It's only like a couple turns.
Yeah.
You're also
I'm keeping my eye
clearly...
out for injuries that need immediate, high-skill attention that they won't get otherwise.
Okay, noted. So as you're getting closer, you can see that, one, you are absolutely heading back to where the mummy was being held in the horrible dentist chair. And 2, there is a strange scent in the air. It's a little bit like the sea once the tide has rolled back out. And there's like kind of like a salt and detritus like stench that kind of goes through, but it's very undercurrent, and it's already kind of dispersing and just being filled with just dust to replace it. Additionally, you can hear the sound of someone like wetly yelling, muffled underneath it, as if someone has put a hand over their mouth and they're still going. No. In pain, terror, something of that kind. As you head towards the corner, there are 2 more guards posted out at the front, and you can see there is the room that heads into where the mummy was being stowed. So come around the corner and take it in. You will notice that things have changed since you've been here last. The mummy is still there, it appears at first, and then you realize that the head has, like, the mouth has moved massively wide open, as if a whale has sucked in krill, or whatever they eat, and you realize that the creature inside it has shimmied itself out of the binds, erupted from the mouth, and then clearly gone somewhere. There's no sign of it anymore, and the back wall has been fucking portaled open, and it's now just a vacuum, and you can see like rubble falling down, and there's still like a faint swirl of magic going through there, and the smell of that like rotten tide is wafting forth from it. The portal has since closed, but it looks as though the creature has escaped through there. Additionally, on a rear, like a table, one of those metallic surgical ones, there are a number of instruments laid out. Amongst them are vials with needles and syringes attached, and you can see that on the far side, one of the attendants that was working on the mummified creature has clearly been jabbed with the skin separation liquid, and their skin has detached from their flesh, is still over the body, and one of the guards has moved a hand over their mouth, and it's like holding the loose lips up as they go, and you can see like as they exhale with talk, the whole cheeks and eyes bubble underneath it as air gets underneath it and sort of like slowly filters out the ears and things like.
That's a bummer.
Everyone make a sanity roll.
Sanity roll.
Sanity time.
I just read a book where that's a horrible thing in it, and it's bringing me right back to it.
I've been doing. Dr. Sam's been doing really well with sanity rolls.
until
now.
today.
Okay.
I will give you. Can I look at sanity check?
You cannot.
Slough.
Slough. Such a good word.
It's sloughing time.
It's gonna be 1 point for those that succeed. I'm gonna give a D6 to those that do not. Taking in the abandoned
heck.
mummy, the portal opened here in the heart of the safest place in New York City, and
yes, I mean, we
old boy in
thought
his
we were safe here.
old boy in his loose skin.
So that's a potential bout.
It is.
I
About
mean,
time.
everybody else thought we were safe
Baby.
here, but I've been having fucked up dreams.
Can we have an intelligence
There you
roll,
go.
please, Sam?
Oh.
Yeah, how intelligent could the doctor be?
Come
It'll
on.
be fine.
This will be great. This will be easy.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
You understand everything. First of all, congratulations on your first bout. You can
Fail.
increase your Cthulhu Mythos by
Thank
5
you.
points.
Well, it's about bloody time.
So you can take that. And here would be my pitch. I think it's a medical approach. I think you want to save the person on the ground. The
Oh.
person who's like
That's what-
skin
Yeah.
slippery
That's
around.
exactly what I was thinking as well, because I haven't seen it happen before, but I knew that this was a
You know
thing
what
that
it is.
happened. And I think we came across the vial, like the stuff that does
Yeah.
it. And
Well,
I think I'm
we took that. This is our
overwhelmed.
vial. We brought it
Yeah.
back.
You did
And
not
I'm
turn over. You actually
overwhelmed.
still have that vial. You've not turned over yours, but
Oh,
they
yeah.
appear to have them from something else as well. So the vials have been
We know what
recovered
it is.
previously.
Dr. Sam is overwhelmed with the guilt that he didn't make that a priority to figure out how to cure this already.
Hell yeah.
Maybe if he'd spent the last couple of days with that vial, maybe he'd have like another vial in his pocket right now that could save this person. But that's okay. We'll get started.
I
Roll
love
up the
that.
sleeves.
And you head over to help that person. Now, you were all escorted in here because there might be a potential half-terrain device. The two guards, again, none of them are talking to one another. They move in and they step to the side so you can take in the room. Dr. Sam, when you go over towards the patient, there is light. They will probably stop you from going there immediately. The priority is the half-terrain device if it's inside. Minnie and Mrs. Smith, you probably haven't necessarily noted that Dr. Sam has responded, so because he's always been like one to help, but you are
This is his
you're
priority
basically
usually.
taking-
Like,
yes.
Yeah,
What are
we'd
you
expect
immediately? What
nothing
are the
else.
two of you immediately
This is-
doing?
I'm gonna have a look at that the residual magic around the portal immediately.
So you're
just
heading into the room as well?
Saying have to running s words at the throughout. Just
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
that's a half-terrain.
This is the residue left from the device when something changes with it, right?
Okay,
And
Mr.
just
Smith.
if there's like you're seeing that there's residual magic on there, if there's anything any symbols, anything that's been written or has
100%.
appeared.
I will
Yeah.
say you succeeded
would
in
like
your
to
initial
start-
fast talk, and unless you can feel yourselves on a tight leash, if you start to basically,
Yeah.
if anyone does anything like too proddy or tries to take things or linger, they might get a bit. For the moment, you have a bit of wiggle room, Mr. Smith.
I start searching the room, ostensibly for a half-terrain device, but actually, I'm trying to find everything
Stuff.
interesting in the room.
Okay, all right, awesome. It's going to be Minnie. Can I get a occult roll, I think, on the portal? And how
Okay.
that might have worked. And Mr. Smith, can you give me a spot hidden roll? And Dr. Sam, can you make a medicine roll, please?
Spooky bitch.
Sure can.
Spooky bitch.
Do you need a number of rounds from about?
bitch.
We're in more narrative flow
Spooky bitch.
here, so I think
Yeah,
it's going to
that's what
basically
I
be the
thought. All right.
scene, effectively.
Good.
If we linger and we
Here
need to
it
figure out
comes.
if you might snap out of it, we can do that.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
This
I
is
am
fried.
thrown in my bout of madness. I'm mad enough to spend 22 points of luck to
Are you?
fix this man.
Are you? Because we've got some. We've got wiggle room. It's pretty cooked, but do I spend the luck to
What?
succeed?
In what sense?
There's-
I think there's medical benefit in being
shit.
here when it happens. Like, I imagine if I fail this role, I'll learn nothing from this situation.
If
So
you
at the very
fail,
least, I
you'll
wanna
still learn.
some-
It will just be more sinister in nature.
But people like it. Well,
It basically you will have to
autopsy.
rely on more extreme methods. You are a good doctor,
Oh.
but you are a mad doctor at the moment, and you will do you are completely committed. You will do anything
Yeah.
to save this person to prevent it happening again. So even on a failure,
I'll
you
do-
are. But you can very much
I'll
luck
do
it.
anything, including spending 22 points of
Okay,
luck.
go for it. Luck spent.
There you go.
Okay. So,
regular success.
Mr. Smith, can't tempt you with 40 points.
I've been thinking about it. What about a push and they get cross at me if I fail?
That's kind of already the case, but no, I dig that. Okay, that will very much shorten the entire investigation. That will be telling people what to do, or you just get blatantly looking under. I can dig it. It will cut short the entire investigation.
I'll just leave it. I'll just take.
You might get a gun in your face.
I take the fail. I'm done.
Okay.
Take the L.
All right.
Take the L.
Looking around. So first, you can't see much. There's scattered trinkets that have been blown around, but you can't see any clear box with missing contents in it that the person seems to have nicked. It looks like the whole thing happened fairly quickly. You get the sense that they came out, escaped, vial plugged someone, and then there is like a smear of, and Minnie will begin to spot this, there is a smear of dark black, what you think is serpent person blood around where the portal was opened as they've activated it. And with their success, you'll realize that this has led to somewhere by the sea, or possibly straight up ocean, based on the stench alone.
Under the sea.
It's kind of your instinct. It's sea related. And two, for something to open a portal with this much speed, under this much pressure, with this little resources, that's a powerful creature that just escaped. And also, you can't help shake the feeling, seems to be keenly interested in you.
Yeah.
As you're studying
it's
that,
been yelling in my brain.
it has. As you're studying that, and the soldiers will begin to sort of go, okay, there's no bomb here, get out soon. Dr. Sam, you head over and get under the attendant, and you pull them up into the same. Actually, you probably wouldn't want to disturb. Actually, I think you are kind of mad. I think it's, the mummy thing is unsnapped and pulled out of it, and you lay down the person in the chair. You can't tell what's the suit rubbing freely or skin beneath, and as you begin to pull it away, the whole thing is sagging underneath, like it's fallen off pectorals and is just hanging looply around it, as if they're in a onesie of their own design. The only pinch points are around nail beds where it's still held in place, but it sort of dangles loosely around it. And as you prop them open, you can see the now let go, the lips and chin skin fall away so that you can see musculature underneath and the bare bones. You are actually this person is not badly hurt, is the worst thing of it. They are mad with the state they're in, and you can see their eyes frantically moving around. You can see a bit of ears, blood pulling from around their ears, but technically they are
they're otherwise healthy.
Otherwise healthy. The teeth look good. The tongue is still attached. They are screaming bloody murder. What is Dr. Sam's process here? You are aware of no means by which to reattach the skin. And there's all the obvious things. Well, exposed muscle will dry. It's going to be easy to get diseased and things like that. But
yeah. So it's the serum is specifically made to separate the bonds between the skin and everything else.
And it appears to be quite the skin is in one piece, basically.
Yeah. So it doesn't damage anything. It just separates the skin from everything else.
Does appear to.
So anyway, there's probably no way to stop the serum. The serum's probably pretty much done its job. So it's really just duct taping them together.
I mean, yeah, in your madness, because I can think too, I can think one where you just in your madness begin to try and stitch everything back, just close every orifice and pin it to muscles. So you stitch that, pins in place. The other one would be get the skin off and start to surgical incisions and then peel the whole thing away so that then this person could be clad in some glad wrap contraption and might survive.
Anti-burn film or something.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that seems worse.
Whoa. Oh yeah, neither are good.
All bad options.
No, I feel like to start with, I don't think I want to sew the skin back into the muscle. That seems like a bad idea. I think you just want to wrap them. I think you just want to
You're just mad doctor.
Duct tape.
Bind it together. Yeah, pretty much duct tape.
Okay.
But I've got I probably don't have enough bandages in my medical bag to like cover someone head to toe. But it's that kind of like binding bandages.
There's also the
where it
straps
needs
on
it.
the chair.
Oh yeah. Like
place
anything
for-
around, like anything strappy, ropey to start
Here's what I think.
tying them together.
Given this has been a bout, and this is kind of your principal focus, I think as you begin to operate on, or try and find a way to help this person, the others will escort you away from this room. Your investigation concluded, and they will take back control of the area. But Dr. Sam, you can, like, when someone tries to take this person away from you, you basically like snap at them and refuse to be relieved of care. This person can be taken away into another theater where you can. So as Hubert and Minnie either remain nearby or heading back upstairs to take in the rest of the situation, Dr. Sam, you will remain for an hour or possibly even operating over a longer period, trying to save this person through whatever means possible,
and also learning as much as I can to help the next person.
Yeah. Can you make? You did succeed the medicine roll, actually, so I think over time you will get the best sort of circumstance you can. You are aware of no means by which to reattach the skin. Anything done is going to be kind of temporary. So I can see it like trussed up like a pork roast with just like twine to hold it back. Also, the skin has much more elasticity, and it's just by gravity alone is sort of slumping down around it. You could pull it back to the correct locations and pin it in place, but it's immensely painful. The other one might just be my instinct, and it might be Dr. Sam's, would be probably removal of the entirety of the skin and move to craft some sort of organic replacement or inorganic replacement. Or this person, lives in like a moisturized bath for the rest of their life.
I don't love that. Skin's like the biggest organ. Like, you can't easily replace it. So I want to keep it. Especially because if it hasn't been detached that long, it's not like all dead at once.
This is a medical saran wrap situation.
Made it to an operating theater. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Oh,
This
in
will
that
go
case,
over the next few days or so.
Well,
Or
yeah, if we can get
hours,
the patient knocked out, that's gonna be better. And if we can keep them knocked out, if we can get them to a coma, that'd probably be best.
I can go for it.
Yeah, and then I think probably the best thing is to reattach the skin mechanically, and then observe kind of what happens next. Like, is there a chance, or like, this is beyond Jackson's medical knowledge, attaching the skin in such a way that gives it the best chance to heal? And I don't know if that's possible. And also like doing procedures that will allow the skin to heal.
I dig it. So I think as you operated on it, I was thinking like minor sutures, like stitching to hold it in key place, and then those would, if effective, if it reattaches, would dissolve in over days. Basically, give this whole thing like a pillowed kind of look, as it's like held in a key places and then like wobbly in between them. You go along and unconscious, you will operate for hours. Like, you're exhausting work as you continue to get everything in closest pace as possible.
Yeah.
Over time, you become aware that there is something beyond this that is beyond science as we currently understand it, and the skin will not reattach. It is divorced. And actually, on like
that's what I'm looking for. That's what
on the internals,
that's what I'm looking to learn about.
Yeah, and on the internals, it's actually as if it's like it's been changed. Like the inner layer of it is like leathery, or not leathery, but like smooth. It's awful and bad and very not good. This is part of their process.
It just doesn't fit anymore.
That's right. But you can pin them together enough that like
so
kept unconscious.
It's trying to damage the skin.
Yeah, kept unconscious and with like a tube or something, this person can survive. And you could send for someone to study fetch and, create another viral analyzer or something, and then study the concoction and try and work on a cure over longer term. This won't be immediate, but this person will possibly, basically something needs to be invented to solve this problem. We do not have the solution yet, and it could take a little while. But you have done the best that you can. And I think by the time you finish operating, and I think probably Minnie and Mr. Smith are kind of like nervously like pacing around, talking a little bit amongst themselves, mostly just uncomfortable silence. By the time night falls,
I am making notes about what I saw with the portal, I'm noting down. I've written down like what I heard in my mind, and
Perfect.
And you know what I'm probably doing is finding everybody who was in that radio room with us and asking if they heard anything.
So,
Because as far as I know, I'm the only person who heard it, and I don't like that.
okay, no, that's gonna be that's a good call. It was just the four of you and Gonzalez who were present. Mr. Smith, Dr. Sam,
and didn't. Oh, hang on. Was it Sam who noticed that Gonzalez? Yeah. Okay, so he wouldn't have told me because he's crazy.
But you kind of independently mentioned that you wanted to go and talk to everyone and follow up. No one else appears to have heard it. And when you do find Gonzalez later, he will say that he did not hear it either. He heard nothing, and will kind of say, it's good that you tried to help them, and it's a shame that you got turned around. I understand that you did the best of the situation. He still thinks you kind of just got lost in the mix of it all. You need to be careful in how you deal with these things. Basically, let us know what preparations you make. We should get you to Oklahoma as soon as possible, as that is going to be that situation is continuing to develop. Mrs. Smith, was there anything you wanted to be doing?
I know. This is not my field of expertise. I'm a little panicked. I am worried. I am going to defer to the others here. The only thing I can think of doing, I guess, is, I mean, you said that there was like this slight spill in the air, like this scent of the sea, right? Yeah. In an attempt to try and just help the others a little bit, if air went through, could anything else have gone through? While we were in there, can I have quickly just scooted along the very back of that wall and seen if there was any like residue or whatever? And ideally, I'd like to pick some up, put it in a pocket, and maybe I can, I don't know, bring it to a chemist or something to try and figure out where it was.
Kind of been lost, unfortunately. With the failed spot hidden and then they've locked down the area, you won't be getting back in there, unfortunately. You'll have to operate on the information that you have. Okay.
Gotcha. Totally fine. In which case, I am nervous and panicked.
Okay. So, Dr. Sam concludes his operation and has returned to sanity. The frenzy's still kind of there, but his mind is returned. The four of you will gather upstairs, possibly across the street, even in a quiet place where you can debrief. And it's kind of passed to you when you wish to depart. They could get you on a train to Oklahoma very soon. You could leave, you could see your flying machine stored and packed onto a trolley to take you across the town by sometime tomorrow, or you could decide to linger here a little bit longer. You have some threads with the mafia, and also possibly with Caduceus and the portaled out mummy. It's up to you.
I am inclined to. If the portal's out, mummy is gone. He's gone, and there's not really anything we can do here. I feel. I think it's important to get to Oklahoma and find out what's happening there.
I also, and I'll have pulled out all our packed brunches while we have this conversation. I'll say I also think that it is clear, I think, that there's a little more that is going on at Caduceus than we are fully aware of, right? And I do fundamentally believe that we're on the same side, but I think that they're being pretty cagey about some of the things that they've told us. I don't think they're going to flip around on that until we basically prove ourselves to them pretty hardcore.
I don't think they'll ever flip on that. I think that's just what they are as an organization. I can't believe nobody else heard that bloody snake thing yelling. He was very chatty.
Well, I think you might be bonded to it in some kind of way. I mean, you're the one who's learnt the most Narcal. You're the one who's had that kind of connection. I think we should go to Oklahoma immediately, right away.
I agree.
I think that while we're in Oklahoma, we should take our time and we should use it as an opportunity to reset a little bit and get a full picture of what's going on. We can probably, from Oklahoma, where we know that because Caduceus is sending us, they ideally have less influence. start to kind of look into them a little bit and see.
I would like to do that also. Yes. Yes.
I think I'm ready to put a little bit of space between me and New York.
I also agree with that. I still don't feel. I'm still a little bit squiggly about my apartment, given that a large man with one ear connected to the bob broke in. I'm a little bit squiggly about Caduceus at the moment. And I don't really want to be near the ocean, I'm going to be honest with you, so an inland city suits me just fine. That said, I am going to ask a friend of mine to keep an eye on the papers if there's anything from seaside coastal cities and see if there's anything unusual happening at the seaside.
That's not a bad idea. I might reach out for one small thing as well. I'll consult with the two of you first. I would like to go to a good detective agency or something. Literally just like private investigators.
Just hire our own.
And hire a bunch of them and say someone is consistently trying to break into some apartments, and we just want you to let them know the next time they try that they don't get to do that no more.
Let them know they're being watched.
Okay. So the idea is, because we kind of discussed a little bit last time with the mob stuff. Currently, you might have
they don't know
not
that
the
we
upper
know.
hand. Yeah, they don't know that you know.
I don't know if it's a good idea to actually.
Do you want to let them know that you know, or do you not?
I want them to keep thinking we don't know. So I'm happy for my part. Like I have hidden I have moved and removed and all of the stuff that is sensitive. And I mean, good luck to them deciphering it anyway. But I'm happy for them to keep thinking that they can get into my apartment. I don't want them to know, but a private investigator hiring our own would be actually kind of good. They can keep an eye on the coastal news for us, see if anything is going weird there, and also on our apartments, and just let us know.
Yeah,
what's going on.
I think we should just hire somebody. Like
keep an eye on our.
But is it to let them know that we know, or is it to investigate?
No, I think
to watch,
just observe.
Secretive.
There is something utterly hilarious about Hubert being like the quest giver in another Call of Cthulhu scenario.
Yes.
Just being like, guys, so here we are playing Call of Cthulhu. You're investigators. You've been hired by this wealthy man who's worried that someone's breaking into his apartment. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. Hopefully you don't discover anything, any mythos.
He's going on a trip to Oklahoma and won't say why.
Oh my god, we were talking about a Christmas one shot and what we do for it. We could possibly run Oklahoma up to the break, come back, and we play as a bunch of dithering detectives hired by Mr. Smith, and we could do the whole side thing as different characters.
All right, I get the phone book. I go and I'm looking down all of the best ones, and I'm like, no, the mob will be aware of them. And then I see the most.
It has to be somebody. It's got to be people.
Shittest.
I see some
we're like
ad
picking them out. Yeah. Yes, and we're like, we can't use those. They're too famous. Look, if they can afford to take out a half-page ad, there's no way they're not under the employ of the mob or Caduceus.
You're right.
We need some real unknowns. I don't even think the paper's where to go.
You're right, but fortunately enough, I have the perfect candidates, and I tap the smallest, weirdest ad, and we go.
Which has like 3 misspellings in it.
And do you know, I live very close to Hell's Kitchen, and there's been, I've walked past, there's a really wonderful dumpling store down there that I go to quite often, and I walked past a building the other day, and I'm sure I saw somebody moving in with lots of cameras and a sign up saying your PI, they've just moved in.
Okay, perfect. This seems like something just fine.
Hilarious.
That rules. Well, we've laid the groundwork to be applied as we see fit. I think that's very funny. We should definitely consider doing that. We'll see how things shake out. All right, fantastic. One more thing, Dr. Sam, could you make an intelligence roll for me, please?
Oh wait, what?
Just a little intelligence roll. Something's in your mind.
Is this going to significantly benefit me? Is the value of 16 points of luck?
Oh, I'm reminding you of something. You do get luck back pretty quickly now.
I think I forget things all the time.
I think it might be worth the 16.
I think it is because I remember nothing. I can't remember my yigs from my Mother of Nights.
Sathagwas.
That's right.
Sathagwas.
Go on then. Okay. I got no luck going to Oklahoma.
Hell yeah, love that for us. So as You also like get your gear together, and you'll be heading off to Oklahoma soon. You get your train tickies, and you pack all your stuff, and you load up your flying machines, and you get your birds, and everyone else gets their things. You are preparing to depart, and Dr. Sam, something's been kind of like rubbing at the back of your mind a little bit. Minnie went and spoke with everyone that was in the room that was there, and said, did you hear anything? Did you hear something from the Serpent person? And Gonzalez said no, and didn't seem to have. But something else had definitely gotten some. They had that you remember quite keenly noticing that they were away. They were thinking of something else. Something had shaken them that had tied, and there's clearly something else. You get the impression was playing in their mind right before that exploded. You don't think it was tied to the eruption of the mummy and the escape. Given that Minnie's questioning, it seemed that he legitimately did not expect that, and probably in the following, your psychology did detect surprise there. But something about the discussion that you were having was prompting him to recall or wobble elsewhere. And you were talking, and when this all happened, you were speaking about the rise of the followers of Yig in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Maybe that he has some personal connections there or something similar.
Is he coming with us?
He is not.
We don't want to repeat of Shapiro.
Fresh out of Shapiro.
That's true.
Last guy died, so yeah. You guys aren't trusted with a handler.
I don't know. It would be kind of funny if we lost one handler in every...
Yeah, if they
And
just
here's
die.
the next guy.
And that's like that's the punishment job in Caduceus, is being our handler, because they just keep dying.
Yeah.
We're 2 for 2 so far.
Hazard of the job at this point.
Yeah, that's all part of the course. Okay. Any further preparations can be kind of retroactively done as necessary, but as you all board the train, it goes doot doot very satisfyingly, and you all go, that was good, and make your way out of the big city. Oh, hell yeah, that rules. So the serious escape didn't do it for me. As you begin to chug away towards the west, across the American plains, you will slowly come towards Oklahoma. It'll be, I imagine, a couple days of travel, and you'll have to make a transfer in Oklahoma City as you head out towards Bingham. And at this point, you are some of the few people on the train. You've got it stocked up with all of your crates of investigative equipment and bits and bobs and things. And as you go rolling out into this small town, you'll slowly see it coming forward across the dusty plains. It's very sort of Western in its style. It's got thin wooden walls and steeples, and people meandering through the streets. There's the occasional kick up of dust, and a person, full on riding a horse or whatever, will go scattering past near the train station. As you depart the stop, there's the baking heat rising down, and the rising waft of the sun reflecting off the stonework. People are meandering all about it, and in the distance, up a little hill towards the far, you can see a little steepled building with a cross above it, where lies the church of the town, and now possibly the service of those devoted to Yig. And that's what we're going to pick up next time.
Awesome.
Hot dog. Jim, did you want to add something? Sorry,
Yes,
I was
I
powered
would.
over
Just
you.
one final detail there. Look, I'm very fond of that Hyacinth detectives, and look, I've got a huge credit rating. I'm going to use it. When we pass through Oklahoma City, I get off the train station. I also hire somebody in Oklahoma City, ideally a little further from New York, so they don't have anyone pre-set, and I just say, hey, I want you to take the train, a carriage back with me, or whatever. I think I'm being followed. Can you confirm whether anyone is following me to Oklahoma, to Bingham? Then go home.
Okay, hell yeah. We will.
That's pretty good.
They know that we will resolve that next time, because that'll be a little scene. That'll go beyond just a single action. But yeah, 100%, you can do that.
Getting a bit paranoid here, aren't we?
I am. It's not paranoid if I'm right.
In that case, we might pick up in Oklahoma City then before you arrive, and there might be a depart. You might, when you change platforms, see if anyone's watching you. Yeah, hell yeah, we'll do it. We'll do the whole thing. That rules. Okay, fantastic. All right, we will be back next week because we jump into the Oklahoma chapter. So tune in 3 p.m. Pacific on Friday, and then of course over on the YouTube shortly thereafter. We are also of course continuing our RuneQuest stream, which will be Monday at some time. Don't have it in front of me, but tune in for that, and it all goes on the YouTube after that. So it's cracking content. I think that's all. Thank you all for playing. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you all shortly.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank
Thank you for running, Dave.
Kashwang.